It's the morning of Wednesday, January 29th, day 2 after the release of OMB memorandum 25-13. My name is Lacey Horn, and I'm the CEO of Native Advisory, a strategic financial consulting firm working with tribes and Native-owned companies and companies that work with tribes. And I formerly served as treasurer of the Cherokee Nation for 8 years, and I'm a CPA by background, working with KPMG and public accounting in Chicago. And so I am introducing myself because I sort of came on the scene to a lot of you yesterday, and you may not have had any idea who I was. But today I'm going to give a brief update. It was a great day. I mean, despite everything yesterday, tribes were having some major successes, bringing down millions of dollars out of the drawdown portals and getting those reimbursements that were owed. So multiple millions of dollars are in hands right now that would not have been had we not gotten right on things. There's also been a whole lot of communications coming out of tribal nations, and you see tribal leaders that are clarifying their positions and are stating that they've got things under watch, they've got things under control, which is great. And yesterday we had a judge freeze the freeze, if you will. That's what I'm going to call it. And I don't know what that means for today, right? If we're going to still be able to go into the reimbursement drawdown systems and be able to draw. I'm hopeful that we can, but in the meantime, till Monday, we need to be going through all of the steps. So today I just want to talk a little bit about what I think we should be doing. I also want to discuss the two documents that came out yesterday that were related to OMB 2513, as well as discuss just a little bit of the news. So I'm going to share my screen here, and for those of you who haven't seen it or don't remember what I said yesterday, but this is broad, and the definition of 2 CFR 200.1, I couldn't really think of any funding streams that were not applicable to tribes. And yesterday, we got 2 documents. So number one, we got a clarification document that basically said that as long as that source of funding, that federal financial assistance, is not in conflict with these initiatives, then everything is okay. So made it sound less bad. And it made it sound like some of these federal financial assistance listings are already passed through the gates and they're good, and no further review is needed by them. And I want to believe that there are some sound minds that are realizing that tribal funding is trust and treaty responsibility, and that our funding needs to be, accepted from this pause. So yesterday we also saw this document come forward. So this is a listing of thousands of federal financial assistance. And it didn't take me very long to go and find on page 18 of the PDF. If I scroll down, there it is right there. Tribal self-governance, 93-210. So we are on the list for review. And what are we being reviewed on? So everything that the memo telegraphed. So all of those same directives and questions that the memorandum gave. And so this has been, parsed out into a spreadsheet form, and each of the agencies are responding to this. And so it would be great if we had some way to communicate with our agencies and to help them answer this questionnaire on our behalf. I also noticed something very important is this mention of the March 15th, 2025 date. So why is that date important? Well, because the continuing resolution expires, the current continuing resolution expires on March the 14th. And you may remember that if a continuing resolution isn't passed, that's where we can go into government shutdown mode. And so I was aware of this date, and back in December, I started having conversations with my clients and getting them ready and going through all of the steps that I outline in my article on how to survive a government shutdown. I personally have led and managed through two of the longest government shutdowns on record, 35 days under President Trump in 2018 and 2019, and 16 days in 2013 under President Obama. And the average shutdown length is 8 days. But I thought that a government shutdown is basically the closest approximation to what we have and know as far as this freeze is concerned. And so this article is on my website. It's under Media and Insights, and it's under blogs. But you can see how I have, laid out all the steps. And so yesterday we did a great job. We did everything that we were supposed to be doing. We were shoring up our cash reserves. We were drawing down everything that we could. We were understanding where other cash is available to us. We were implementing contingency plans. And so if you don't have it already, I have a link to a draft financial contingency plan. And, this is just meant to be an ideas framework. So take it or toss it, love it or leave it. It's okay. You may already have something great, but I do, repeat this article in here just in sort of plain language narrative so that you can pull this out print it, pull it out of a desk drawer if you need it, and then it's sort of walking you through step by step what you need to be doing. So last thing I'll touch on is the news. Obviously I'm following Politico. I think that they're doing, the most up to the date, nonpartisan reporting. And I mean, I'm, looking at this as, this is simply, what President Trump had campaigned on, right? So this was all known. This was all telegraphed. This was, a campaign promise that he would look at all of the sources of funding that the federal government was spending, all of the taxpayer dollars, all of the money that we're borrowing to spend. And I don't think anybody could have ever imagined a black swan like this freeze that we have experienced over the last couple of days. But it does seem that the courts are, putting a freeze on the freeze. And we also see, members of Congress that are sort of backing him and saying he has every right to look. We've even heard some messaging to that degree from Congressman Tom Cole. So anyway, I will stop the share here, and I just want to say, great job, everyone. We're still in this. There's still, there's still a ways to go. I do think that these extra few days here are going to give us some good breathing room, and we're going to be able to advocate and relook and reassess as much as we need to. It may have been a fire drill. It may have been somewhat of a dress rehearsal, but I mean, we do have that continuing resolution date coming forward. And if nothing else, you will be very well prepared for the continuing resolution date that comes forward, and the always potential for a government shutdown at that time. So still in this. Thank you so much. Widow.